Well, my mom and I first saw our next guest on Food Network's Gingerbread Showdown, a nail-biting competition of the country's best gingerbread pastry artists vying for $10,000 in prizes. Well, we'd like to welcome Teena Ham, extreme gingerbread artist by night, but she's also a familiar face around CFC.
Absolutely.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
What's your day job?
I'm actually an IT training program coordinator. So I started in service desk. I worked through service desk and helping with answering calls and technology questions. Did that for a few years.
Oh, wow.
I kept telling my supervisor and my manager that we needed better training, we needed more help, and so now I get to put up or shut up. So I'm creating the content and training documentation for the college for some of the applications we do.
So clearly gingerbread is your creative outlet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which brings us here today. So again, I mean, you've been catapulted onto the world stage with Food Network. What kind of pressure was that? What was the experience like?
Oh, it was so crazy. So I compete in the National Gingerbread Competition, and I have for years and years. And when you do that repeatedly, you develop a rapport and friendship with some of the other competitors. So they were on Food Network, and I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah. And some of the past participants for other shows on Food Network actually gave them my name.
That's nice.
So then they followed me on Facebook and saw some of the pictures that I posted.
And like, we got to get this lady into our studio and on the show. And when we talk about Showdown, I mean, you're there with your peers who are at the height of gingerbread creativity and perfection. Yeah. You're so professional at what you do. And I want to just draw our attention to this right here. This won first prize where?
At the Tri-County Fair, the Coastal Carolina Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was just this year.
Ribbon. Yeah, just this year.
Just this year.
And it's a perfect example of how you can take ordinary items like Christmas tree cutters and turn it into something different. And a lot of times you have to do that with gingerbread. You think outside the box of what can I use to do this?
Right.
For example, I don't shop in the grocery store like I used to anymore because I see the threads on the coconuts, or I think about the string off the celery, or corn silk, or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's just amazing the way that you can manipulate tools.
That's incredible. So when you're thinking of the next crazy thing to create, I mean, where does your creativity come from? Where do these ideas come from?
Well, some of the strange things that I've made were, for example, times when I play with my grandkids. They like the little marble games. So one of my creations was actually a marble game made out of gingerbread, and I used gumballs for that. So, some of that is from, that kind of thing, whimsical things. Sometimes it's an out of the blue thing like, hey, that could be a snowflake.
You've made these wreaths, which are so precious, and that looks like it's made out of icing, right?
Yes, it is.
So you're allowed to decorate your gingerbread with other things.
Absolutely.
But in order to actually create, to construct something, take this for example. So what would this be the makings of?
Well, this is another present, kind of in the lines of these two that are already finished. It has the sides already completed. I did use my bandsaw. I use all kinds of power tools, bandsaws, scroll saws.
This is a mitered corner for all you construction buffs out there. A mitered corner on gingerbread.
Absolutely, and it's lots of fun.
And you say that's what gets you the big points.
That's what gets you the big points. And then you can use impression mats like I did for that box right there, or these scraps.
Can you show our audience this?
Sure. This is actually a lattice from one of the pieces that I did in the past. It's an extra lattice. I started with gingerbread clay, so there's different recipes to use. So I made the clay, rolled it out, and then I cut strips and then baked them. It's basically ground up gingerbread pieces with other spices and secret ingredients to make a clay.
What was the competition? What was the task that everybody was given on the Food Network Showdown?
Okay, so the size of it, our piece had to be 4 foot by 4 foot, so we had to cover a 4-foot table. We had to have 2 feet of height, at least one part of it, and then 90% of it needed to be gingerbread.
Yeah,
but
so
that
10%
included
can be like construction materials, which you kind of have to have if it's going to stand up, right?
Well, yes and no, because I compete in the National Gingerbread Competition. Those competitions are only edibles. So I was used to doing that size of a piece without having the wood that other competitors would rely on.
So you've got these parameters, and then you've got to add the creativity aspect to it. So what was
color and all kinds of stuff.
What was the theme?
The theme was a very scary Christmas, and I absolutely love it. And you asked about topics.
Yeah.
You know, kids are always wondering when they move right before Christmas if Santa Claus is going to remember where they are or know where they are to find them. So the story behind my piece is the family moved and Santa didn't get that email. So he went to the wrong house. So, oh no, wrong house.
Oh no, wrong house.
And
it's scary and it's sad.
Exactly. So he was trying to make a quick getaway before the monsters in the house ate them.
And real quick, just one of my last questions for you. When you're in the middle of the competition, the clock is timing down, and then things start to fall off. Then are you just freaking out, or is that when you just become calm and focused?
You know, I had so much fun doing the show that I really didn't have time to freak out because, you know, when those things sort of happen, you have to be able to think 2 steps ahead.
That's right.
And, you know, figure out what you can do to fix it. So I did a few things on the show that I'd never done before, like I've never screwed screws into gingerbread before. You know, I acted like I did it all the time. You know.
And there's a first time for everything. And I'm sure there's going to be even more fun new experiences to come.
It was
Teena
amazing.
Ham, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. This has been such a blast.
This has been an honor. Thank you.
We're back after this.